we have Konnan, a little Konnan, and these are just quick clips as well. These aren't super long by any means here because he just touches on a thing and then sort of keeps it moving. So first I'll give you guys a Konnan and then we'll switch screens here. So Konnan on K100 had this to say about Tony Khan's angry reaction to Bubba Ray Dudley's Pentagon praise. So let's give this a listen.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Sure.
So you're looking for tickets to go to Vegas. Does that mean you're going to one of the shows?
What I would do in Vegas is I like going around.
You groove yourself a little bit better.
Oh yeah,
You either shave yourself, So he said, Bubba said, fully rate speaking. You want to play it, Joe? Yeah, go ahead, play it.
Is the big leagues. This really is the big time. It's the WWE. It's where you truly learn how to work and become a millionaire. Not just because some guy with a lot of money threw millions at you because he wanted another action figure to play with. It's because you earned the right to make these millions through your art and your work and your performance. And
big facts. We EFAP that on the show.
That came out in the promo last.
Shout out Uncle Bully. Shout out Husey with his full-blown AI.
Yeah.
Grok. Shout him. I ain't hating.
Night. There was genuineness. If you looked into Penta's eyes and you really watched him like I did in his tone, you could see it was like he was exhaling. Not because
we know what Bubba said. Sorry, let's just skip ahead and see what Tony Khan had to say.
You get to the WWE style, the art, and the. I know that's hard.
Mega sensitive. All right, let me finish a question. My question is, due to how you guys have said that Tony Khan is a mega sensitive snowflake, how do you think he's going to react to these comments? Do you think he'll make the life tougher for Ray Phoenix? Do you think he'll use his dad's connections to mess with Busted Open Radio? Please don't hold back with the burial. By the way, Konnan, was Bubba Ray accurate in his description what he saw?
100%. I told him right before he signed the last time, I go, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, who said this in chat? I'm listening to PWC or PWT, listening to Konnan, listening to Bully. Yeah, dude, an EFAP of an EFAP. Let's go. And then I also see CE No. Yeah. Manea is on the screen, and she's stealing Chelsea Green's attire here, I guess. Moving along.
Because you're just going to get stuck like you've been the last few years. Oh, they said they're going to do so. Of course they said that because they want to retain you. Well, we're getting a lot of money. All right, then get your money. And yeah, he was definitely like, I told him, bro, when you go to WWE, that's the big leagues. That's almost like a guy that's, the best player in the European League. That means nothing until you make it to the NBA.
So that's what Konnan would tell Penta.
Professionalism, just the whole scope of when you're there, it's so grandiose. So many people, it's incredible, bro. When you go there, you're just blown away. And he knew he's finally in the big time, I agree with everything Bubba said. And yeah, Tony is what he called him, a mega snowflake. Is that what he called him?
Yeah,
No.
I think he called it. Yeah, mega snowflake.
Yeah, I would edit that to super mega snowflake. And I doubt he's going to get his dad.
Super mega King Kamehameha snowflake.
To do
I'm not going to have you make those comments to Tony Khan on my show.
And then, yeah, that's really what I have to say.
So I bring that to you. Now I know you're kind of like, oh, come on now, Phil. Tony Khan didn't get mad, but I'm going to show you now. Okay. Because there's this other one. Basically, that's a little precursor giving us some insight. Like he did talk to Penta, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, Tony is an ultra snowflake. Why? Because in this next clip, okay, we're going to hear how Elbu is actually accurate in the way Tony Khan is like, oh, I'm tired of this. Konnan says that happened to him personally multiple times with Tony Khan. He's witnessed it, that all the top guys there, when you talk about Tony freaking out, apparently all the top guys there are like, oh yeah, did you see Tony kick? They all laugh about it. And they're like, did you see Tony kick the stairs, or did he throw his water bottle or whatever? That's hilarious. He's having these billionaire child temper tantrums. Like, of course, because he doesn't understand real. That's why it's not connecting. That's why Tony would never listen to someone like me, because he doesn't understand what it's like to work for anything in his goddamn life. And that's just the facts of it. So he's throwing these Rich temper tantrums, and Konnan adds validity. So I'm pointing to where I think Elboo's lying about some specific, like he's lying about Hangman, he's lying about Jose, he's lying about Britt. But when it comes to Tony, and I just go based off the evidence, guys. I just go based off the evidence. There's no evidence Britt cheats on anybody. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of Jose being a racialist or him having beef with Stokely or anything like that. There's no evidence of what's the other situation of Hangman going like, yeah, let's go to the Fed. Other than, the Bucks do say like we were all ready to take off. So I just say there's no evidence of that. There's evidence of, okay, the Elite were considering, but they might have just been saying that to work Tony Khan for more money. That's the way I look at it. Either way, though, there is evidence. If Konnan is saying this, that Tony Khan's had temper tantrums, I'm going to believe Konnan, because he's actually talked about this before. He's touched on like, yes, Tony Khan's freaked out on people or whatever. So they start talking about George Bush for like 1 second. So I'm going to skip ahead to where like Konnan comes, because Konnan goes to smoke a joint and then in Minecraft, and then they start talking about George Bush or whatever. And then he comes back and then he responds to basically Elboo's claims and sort of confirms them.
But obviously this guy's done it before, right? And so when I heard this, what you're going to hear right now, the guy imitating Tony, is exactly what he does. And he's done it to me. And you know who another guy that did that to me once, Disco?
Who?
Ryan Satin.
Right.
So he called
Satin too.
Satin catching strays.
Yeah, dude, he's a little freakazoid. You can
He
tell
is,
by the
though.
way.
You
Who
yeah.
like freaks out by the way these people conduct themselves. You know who's yelling and screaming at people in voice notes online, and you know who's doing all that. These little temper tantrum ass babies.
and we had said something about him and his girlfriend that he doesn't get, and he goes, "I my girlfriend every day."
Satin gets mad at Konnan. I'm my girlfriend every day. I'm not gay, I swear. Like what? Oh my god, dude, this is hilarious. Satin, man. Konnan. There we go, Konnan.
Of yourself, and since then we've never talked. But go ahead.
All right, so here's this clip.
Divulge this here, bro. There was a time when y'all were jumping Tony.
So here's
like,
Elboo.
This was around like Full Gear last year when Jay White got cooked by MJF. I forgot what exactly happened, but it was a week where people were just jumping Tony in like late 2023. And Tony just ran to me to just start like yelling and ranting.
He's like, I'm not selling for these guys.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna sell. I'm sick of this.
Nobody appreciates me.
Yeah, nobody appreciates me. No one
The billionaire blues or what? You know what I mean? Like no one cares about me, dude. No, you've been
He did
pampered
that
and
press
cared.
conference too.
You've been-
I'm not gonna take that.
Yeah, and like he's been pampered and cared for his whole goddamn life. What do you mean people don't care for you? Lots of people care for you, but unfortunately, the fans
paid to.
don't. Yeah, the fans don't. You got a lot of yes men around you, and like paid care, and that comes with being a billion. I'm not saying you can't be a billionaire or a millionaire and you can't surround yourself with good people and still keep a good head on your shoulders, especially if you're someone who struggled for it, But Tony just was born Richie Rich. He was born with what's that movie? There's a movie where a kid has like a water slide from their bedroom to the pool in their yard or whatever, like if that's what you got going on. Tony has elevators in his houses growing up, and I'm sorry, dude. You can't relate to regular people, so you throw these temper tantrums and they don't appreciate me. No, we did at the start, but then you listen to all the sickos and kept stooging to Dave and everyone's like this, and now people just laugh at you, man. And it's your own fault, dude. You became a lol cow, and that's just your own fault. Like, period. So I don't know. Let's continue along with this.
appreciates me. He also hit me with the tell your friend that guy being CM Punk. He's like, tell your friend A, B, and C. Maybe he wasn't so selfish. All right. I'm like, why are you yelling at me?
He would never say that. He would never say that to his face.
He would never.
And then they're just calling Tony a coward. How slimy behind a paid Discord. You trust these goofs to where you text them and freak out on them, and meanwhile they're just laughing at you behind a $5 to $20 paywall. Crazy.
I remember hitting him with bro, debut Mercedes. And he was like, no.
I hit him with the debut Mercedes. What a dumb thing to say. I'd yell at you too, idiot.
She's hurt. Her ankle is broken. She's on a walking boot. And I'm like, but very funny conversation. But yeah, very funny. So I don't have to say,
and then just the way they're laughing it off, like little simps too. I'll say it. They're just laughing it off because they don't want to fully be like, man, this is weird. He's acting like a rich temper tantrum, whatever. They're like, oh, he wouldn't say it to whoever's face. Okay, that's easy to say, but they're just like laughing it off. It's so goofy. This whole thing was goofy that Elbu did.
Yeah, so cringe.
Dude, do you know what this sounds like?
Yeah.
To me,
yeah.
This is like a complete mirror of the way the wrestling media, okay, and AEW have worked in conjunction to protect their image.
Right.
Okay. And it's just like the Biden administration media. We're hearing all the stories. Now they're kind of like, did you hear the story the other day, Konnan, where the Speaker of the House guy had an interview with Barry Weiss, and he was talking about
these guys keep talking about 9/11, and I don't know.
I was meeting with Biden, and they were all there. John Fightful, all these guys. It's like they're all fans and promoters of AEW first and foremost. And they're just not really.
Yeah, because bro, you've got to understand this.
Check this. This is just.
Let me just say this real quick. You've got to understand. At the end of the day, they're still fanboys,
right?
And they don't want to be in an industry where they can't go to the scrums or.
Boom, access. Now, what I was told behind the scenes, again, I'll reiterate it. What access? No one even likes them. I do believe there's some access there through just playing your cards right. And Tony Khan, like for sure, he's met Tony Khan. Like we clown him, but I wouldn't be shocked if they text, But at the end of the day, that's just it. They're laughing it off behind this paywall like snakes. Meanwhile, they're in your face. They're telling you everything's great. I always say this: a real friend will tell you when you're up or when you're wrong about something because they care. People who don't do that, like people who don't care, will pat you on the back and be even nicer to you than your friend will be and tell you everything's fine when it's not. And the whole thing is like they're all just smiling, patting Tony on the back. Yeah, this is fine. Just debut Monet, like they're action figures because McGraps. And meanwhile, they don't respect him, and he's melting down, wondering why he has no respect. And it's just, it's because of that. Like you're stooging to these idiots and giving these idiots access. Jesus Christ, why do that? Look at how dumb these guys are. And we sniffed them out a mile away. I've sniffed them out a mile away. I was on to Elbu before anyone.
We were calling him Elbu well before anybody else.
Dude, before anyone even knew this guy. Okay. He was already number 2 on my fools list. All right.
Yeah. He made the list quick.
He made the list real quick, buddy. Right. So you guys know.
You just made the list.
At the end of the day here, man, it's just all about access, and they think they can work their way into getting jobs. Right. And that's a bunch of, well, no, it's not. I'm sure some of them can, but it is just about access. They want to ride on the buses and the limos with the talent, and they want to be at the scrums, and they want to do all the things Konnan's saying. This is absolutely correct. And think about if you were like a Mark fan like myself, I'd want to as well. Like, do you think I would, if I got passes to AEW, do you think I'd start yelling at everyone there? This is book it this way. No, I'll save it for my goddamn show. I'd be smiley too. I'd be a good guest. Hey, thank you for having me. You know what I mean? You can't stop being honest, though, in reviews and stuff like that. You can't just shill to them publicly and then behind a paywall make fun of these people and make up lies about them and act like an asshole and laugh at it and then take for granted the access you've been granted. That's when you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
And I'm an upfront cunt. Like, I'm telling you the problems that I see as a fan, as a guy who watches Yuka Sakazaki and Monet for fakes going overtime. Okay. Doing an overrun. Yeah, dude. As a guy who watches this every week and buys your pay-per-views, and I'm trying to tell you what to do. God damn it, listen to me. You're listening to Elbu, who stinks. He's a clown. Right?
Just to the wrestlers, right?
And I think some of that's projection too. He's like, oh, I'm not going to sell for them. I'm not going to sell for them. That's what the Elbu says too. I'm not going to sell. If I sell for the Twitter marks, then, people have DM'd him and said, do this and it will rectify it. No, I can't do that. It's selling. That's what he thinks. He's such a goof. Anyway, sorry, I'm roasting him too much. I already did that. Last episode was the
Never
roast.
too much. It's
Part
never
two. Yeah,
too
it's
much,
never
Bill.
too much, I guess.
Never too much.
So they're gonna, assuage. That's a great word. Tony. And Tony just sounds like probably when he was a little kid, he was spoiled brat, and his dad was, yeah, whatever you want, just calm down,
Right.
calm down.
Oh,
And he thinks he can talk to anybody like that. And as you know, the law of probabilities is he's gonna get some who's sick and tired and is on his way out, and he's gonna get cracked one day.
Right.
Damn.
Listen to this.
So that's what I wanted to bring up. Konnan says Tony Khan's going to get punched one day by someone. He's going to say it to the wrong guy. Now, I wonder, because apparently Tony thinks he can just talk to people any which way, but he can't like directly confront them about their contracts being up.
Right.
I don't know, man. I wonder if Edge has seen this guy have a temper tantrum and like that. And I wonder if like that's what made Kenny kind of consider WWE possibly and stuff like that, Do you think Tony Khan do you think a wrestler ever punches Tony Khan in the face, chat? And Jake, what do you think? Do you think we ever get to a point where a wrestler just decks him?
So probably not, because he will just stop having them come to the shows before it gets there. Like if there's any chance of that happening, that's why we haven't seen, Malachi Black in however long. Same with Ricky Starks. Like anybody who would take that step, who actually does have the balls to do it, then he just, he ignores them and just doesn't book them, but still pays them, and they go away eventually.
I don't know the over-under on Tony getting smacked, but it definitely could happen one day. So Jon Moxley on the Death Riders, he says, stop asking questions, trust in us, and just enjoy the damn ride. And then the next thing he does is lose the title. And here's the other thing, Mox. You don't want people not asking questions about your product. You want people asking all the questions about your product. You want people to be interested in it in any way. You know what I mean? However, yeah, you can't then lose the title and then be like, oh, I don't know where it is, and Jericho did this before, and we're going to release like a press statement before and then air it again on Dynamite. Or whatever
did he bring it to another jiu-jitsu tournament and lose it to an Applebee's?
Yeah, a guy tapped him out and took it.
That's what happened. We figured it out, dude. That's it.
Jesus. The guy really made him put it on the line.
No, he wouldn't release the hold until he gave up the belt.
Yeah, none of the storyline makes sense, man. So we're asking the wrong questions. We're not asking in a good way. Here's our old pal Eric Bischoff, who says Will Ospreay is a million miles from being the best wrestler. Bischoff, oh my God, the Phantom Menace. Did you see that?
I did. I actually saw it happen.
The Phantom Menace, man. What the fuck is going on here? Dynamite's over. We're keeping that shirt in here. Here, I'm going to get that clip back. We're going to find it. Okay. Excellent stuff. Here's Eric Bischoff.
When you come out and say AEW, we're the best wrestler, well, define best. What does best mean to you? It's a very individual perception based on your own biases. You perceive someone to be the best because they do things that are very, very athletic and you find stimulating. So you think that person is the best. Let's pick, I don't know, Will Ospreay. I'm a fan. I enjoy watching Will Ospreay wrestle. He's a million miles from the best.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Because he's not making any money. He's not drawing ratings. He's not drawing anything. He's really, really good at what he does.
He's a
But
good
he's
move doer.
not the best wrestler, because my definition of best wrestler is about the business of the wrestling business, because without the business, there is no wrestling.
Boom. And it's
Bingo.
a fucking TV show. So you have to do what is called a TV show. And, there's many components to that. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a good old Ichi Nissan for AEW news. Okay, I think we got it that time on the first try.